Well, it's my great pleasure to welcome all of you this morning. On behalf of the National Bureau of Asian Research, welcome to Engaging Asia 2011. We're going to discuss a couple of things today. Obviously, we're going to pay some special attention to the situation in Japan and the tragedy there. We're also going to review, as we do annually in this event, the issues that are before Congress this year having to do with U.S. interests in Asia. I want to extend my gratitude for all of you coming and the authors for their preparation, the speakers in advance of what they're going to say. And many old friends and new friends. I've already had some terrific reacquaintances and some new acquaintances. Thank you so much for coming and also speaking to me personally. I want to thank our sponsors, Chevron, Microsoft, the NBR board members. We have such a spectacular board made up of tremendous individuals representing themselves and their experiences, major companies, and so we are hugely appreciative. One of the interesting things that I've been learning over the last few weeks is the extent to which of course, number one, the Japanese people, Japanese government responding to the incredible events taking place there, and the heroism and the steadfastness and resilience shown in Japan. What's also extremely heartwarming and reaffirming are the efforts made by individuals outside of Japan and governments and companies. And I've heard so many stories about what people are doing, spontaneously organizing to assist the victims in Japan, and from school kids and local things going on throughout this country and elsewhere to larger events on the ground by multinational companies, American companies and others helping out, not to mention what we're going to hear about later today from the commander of Operation Tomodachi by the Pacific Command, the efforts by our military to support assistance there. So in any case, that's something we want to do today. It's appropriate to say the least. I also want to say right at the outset that Ambassador Fujisaki, who was until late last night going to start this off this morning, if you read the papers carefully, get on the internet, you'll find out that there was a conversation last night between the Prime Minister of Japan and our President, and the Ambassador was supporting that effort, and so that went a bit late, and so the Ambassador is not here, but I'm going to introduce in a couple of minutes Minister Chiba, who is here representing the Ambassador. So it's been quite a year globally, not just in Asia. It's a year of tremendous turmoil, and I think for those of us who at the time thought the Cold War were tough years, we're beginning to think that the post-Cold War era may be a little more chaotic, more unpredictable, not only from natural disasters, but from events, domestic turmoil in various nations of the Middle East that seem to be catching fire. The domino theory in my day was always discredited, but it's amazing how events in one country can affect events in another country, and we're seeing that in the Middle East. So while we're distracted among many things by many things in the world today, it is important that we remind ourselves, and in this conference do so in an explicit way, about the important events in Asia, about the fact that world power is concentrating and has concentrated in the Asia-Pacific, no matter how you measure it, whether by economic power, military power, and so on. These are the major actors in the world, the major ones with foreign policies and defense policies, where the greatest economic growth is taking place, the most dynamic trade relations. It all happens in the Asia-Pacific. So while we're distracted for very good reasons and for important reasons to other parts of the world, it's important also to remember just how critical our relationships are, that is, American relationships are, in Asia, starting with our alliance relationships and starting among those with our relationship with Japan.